Welcome everyone to Our Town Podcast. Please take a moment to like and subscribe, share if you can, and review if available. We'd love to hear from you, so comment below and tell us how we're doing. Don't forget to visit ourtownpodcast.com for all the links and join the members only section of the website or sign up on Patreon. Now here are the boys of Our Town Podcast.
Oh, it's Jeff.
I like it.
I'm coming in.
Jeff.
If I could turn back time,
I would find the way.
I'd take back those things that have hurt you.
I kind of arm wrestle Cher for some reason.
Whoa. What does she do? Whoa.
I love Cher.
She's great.
Cher. Well, boys, do you think that girl, are we all good?
Yeah, I think so.
I have no idea.
Do you think that little kid is done? Not so little kid anymore with her spiel? You think she's done?
Yes.
Well, then let's get this here started. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of Our Town Podcast.
Extraordinaire.
Well, yes, it is. Boys, episode number 125.
What?
I know, it's crazy. And tonight, folks, we've got an interview that is forthcoming with a very cool dude named Guilford Adams.
Yeah, what a great interview.
Gilly.
Yep.
Agreed.
That we recorded last Sunday, right? Did we come down and do that on Sunday?
Yeah, it was Sunday.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice to do two in a week.
It was. Kind of seeing you guys a little extra.
That was nice.
Yes. But before that, boys, tonight's safe word is no more Mr. Nice Guy Keanu.
That's the I think that's the longest
Has he
one.
done something evil?
If anybody's not feeling safe for any reason, just yell out, no more Mr. Nice Guy Keanu, and we'll stop this here program and check on you. And you folks can do it at home. Just hit pause and yell out, no more Mr. Nice Guy Keanu. Boys, I found an interesting story. Keanu Reeves, when he was about 6 years old, living in Toronto, had an unusual babysitter. There was a gentleman staying at his grandmother's house, this little 70-something-year-old Hawaiian lady. It was an old Victorian house, and this guy was renting the top of it while he was recording at a studio just down the street. And he noticed this kid was kind of always around, and the mother was very busy. She was a rock and roll kind of gal. She did a bunch of costumes for photo shoots and stuff like that. So he took on some responsibility for kind of watching out for the kid, looking over him, kind of doing some babysitting, even took him to the studio. Years later, this kid figured out that he remembered doing this, but the only thing he really remembered was going into the studio and opening up the refrigerator, and inside the fridge was like a pile of fake dog poop.
Why?
But the musician that was babysitting was none other than Alice Cooper. Keanu Reeves to Alice Cooper in less than 6 degrees, boys.
Wow.
Through a pile of shit.
Through a pile of
Any
fake.
explanation on the fake
food.
dog, dude?
I mean, it's
it
Alice
was a comic
Cooper,
book
right?
classic.
Yeah.
What year was this? Because this sounds like it was back
early 70s.
Early 70s?
Yeah, because I think he's about my age.
Keanu was born in, I think, 64.
Oh, well.
And if he was 6 at the time, you're probably
60.
70, 71,
Oh, yeah.
something like that. So.
Yeah, he's almost 60.
Yeah, but a funny story, man. He just, that combination. So Alice Cooper was, just remembered this dark-haired kid that was funny and just kind of always hanging around. You remember the kid was either Key or K or something like that. Just was the kid's name, and they put 2 and 2 together and figured out that it was Keanu Reeves.
Wow. That's a nice I've never heard that story
Who grew
before.
up to be a rock and roll guy. I guess he play bass or something.
Yeah, in Dog Star.
Yeah. I don't know much about
I've never heard of him. But he's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean,
I was babysat by Jim Jones. And my parents were like, "Oh, you can take him somewhere."
out of country, no problem.
No problem. Not so
He
much
really,
music emphasis, though.
Really likes Flavor Aid.
Any sugary substance.
I know a dude that was down there that traveled to Jonestown.
Oh, yeah.
He actually went down ahead of time and did prep work on the site where they built their little village. So I've got pictures of him on like a bulldozer clearing the land, making room. And apparently, according to him, the story is that Jim had sent him back to the States on a special mission, which is why he wasn't there when the congressman, went down and everybody ended up drinking the Kool-Aid.
Do we know that it was actually Kool-Aid, like
It was
brand?
Flavor Aid. Yeah, but everybody just calls it drink the Kool-Aid. So.
Right.
Yeah, is Flavor Aid still around?
I don't know.
That's the stuff they ended up being hit so hard economically. They switched branding into Flavor Aid or whatever.
That was their
Lick'em Sticks.
That was their plan, is they were going to do this Jim Jones thing and get a bunch of publicity and then change it up.
Oh man.
Oh boy. Well, boys, do you want to jump into the interview with Mr. Guilford Adams?
Oh, sure.
Love to.
Director of the upcoming movie American Clown, premieres 6/23 at the Dances with Films Festival in Los Angeles.
Fantastic.
So if you're down there, go see it. It's at the Chinese...
Grauman's Chinese
Grauman's
Theater.
Chinese-
It's not at Grauman's, it's in that kind of area.
That's like a film district.
Yeah. That's where they do all the handprints and stuff. Right?
Marilyn
It's pretty
Monroe
cool.
and stuff and such.
What a great... What a great guest.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing the film.
He was so engaging and
The guy was great.
Yeah,
he really
was great.
Yeah,
And he's in it for the love of it. He is. He's dedicated. This guy, dedicated. Yeah.
For sure. And AmericanClownMovie.com is where you can get more information on. We're hoping to maybe
get a copy.
Pressure him to get a copy, and then we can talk to the theater over there about maybe doing if you want to come up, Gil.
Yeah,
we could do
We can talk about it for sure.
Do a show for you.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think he's submitting it to some film festival, and he's waiting to get us that link after
it goes through exactly. 6/23, I think.
Give me the code.
If it's a film festival, but it's hosted by William Shatner, would it be cons instead of cons? Anybody?
Oh my God! Let's jump into the interview and then we'll come back and see you folks in a minute.
Cheers.
That's great. Yeah. Oh, what's happening? Good day, sir.
Good day. How are you, sir?
We are good.
All
Welcome
right.
to Our Town Podcast here in beautiful downtown Renton, Washington.
All right. Hey, Washington, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
Jeffrey and Charlie in the back. Is that the?
I'm Mike, and that's Mike. Yep.
Okay, hey, Mike. Hey, man. I'm Gilly.
And you're broadcasting to us from Los Angeles, I presume.
Lost Angels, right here in California. That's right.
Are we in your kitchen?
No, we're not. We're in the clown house. I'll give you a little peek. It's like the mother-in-law space, but you can see all the costumes over there and stuff. Yeah, this is like my. This is basically where I live. You know, I mean, I don't live. I live in the main house, but this is like, this is my man cave.
Nice. Can you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. My name is Guilford Adams, aka Gilly the Clown, and I'm a clown and actor here in Los Angeles.
Nice. Are you a clown first and then an actor, or do they kind of go hand in hand?
It kind of depends on the year, you know. I mean, I think it depends on. I'm always a clown, and then sometimes I'm an actor too. So I guess it just kind of depends.
Nice. Yeah, I did look you up on IMDb and was impressed. You have quite a few credits to your name.
I do. I've been working for a bit.
And you've worked with some pretty fun people. Everybody from Danica McKellar to Joey from Friends on his show.
Yeah.
Lucifer.
Lucifer, yeah. I mean, at this point in my career, I've been out here for 25 years. So, a lot of the people that I kind of went to college with, and some of them, they're just, they won't answer my calls. And then some of them, they've done nothing. So I'm kind of in the middle of the pack. But I've made it as a middle class actor / clown for 25 years, and I'm not done yet. So
Yeah, that's magnificent. Yeah.
Keep going on. I mean, there's some people. Yeah, it's just one of these things. It's like some people would probably slip their wrist they had my career, and some people are like, oh, I'm really envious of your career. So depends on which angle you're looking at it from.
You ever played a scary clown?
I have, and I mean, I have, yeah. So there was this one thing that we did. It was kind of these kind of group from my acting class were putting together stuff, and I actually got like a buttload of hits. It got like 20 million hits, and I played kind of a scared clown in that. I'm just skipping on the name right now. It was really good, Yeah. They modified my voice and kind of made my eyes look all weird and stuff, and I've definitely booked those jobs in the past. One was for a film director where he wanted me to scare the crap out of his kid. And I'll do it if the kid is in on the joke, like they're like, sometimes I'll get them, and I don't know if they're real or not, but they'll like, hey, I want you to scare the shit out of my 12-year-old son, or a stepson. He's such a punk. And I'm like, I'm not going to.
It's just like taking a kid that's a little off and putting him in prison and having all the inmates.
Kind of
great.
Yeah.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to do that. I don't want to. I mean, I suppose I would if enough money was thrown at me, but no one's offered to throw that much money at me. I usually want them in on the joke. I mean, most clowns. In fact, I've never met a clown that wasn't by the end of the party didn't have excited about turning people around, whether they were a kid or an adult. Feel like that kid was so scared of me, but then by the end of the party, he wants me to come to his party. So that's kind of what we do it for. I mean, we like to get paid, but we also do it for that reason.
Yeah.
Hey, Guilford, is that kind of the reason for the movie? I kind of feel like being a clown that you felt like clowns were sort of getting a bad rap, kind of a thing, or a lost art.
Yeah, I think there is that. And I was kind of in the middle of it. So at the time it was like 2017. I was working in kind of a corporate sort of, I mean, I was an independent contractor for kind of a corporation that had a clown. I'll let you kind of surmise who that might have been. And so I was kind of working in the field with that person, and all this stuff was going around. And there's a lot of people that worked with Mr. McDonald at the time. So it was like people were like, oh, it's coming out. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then, I was like, I guess is, people, and then people were getting fired. They're getting let go from their co-ops and stuff. And I thought and then we did, and I thought we would probably not be let go because we're California, Southern California. There's so many McDonald's out here, that we would be okay. And then when we got dropped, it was kind of like, well, we should be documenting this. I had a producer friend that for years was like, well, your life is so interesting. We should document it and stuff. And I was like, yeah. But then when that was happening, I was like, well, we probably should document this just in case, because it's not going to happen again. And then, so we had a lot of footage from that period, and we really used very little of it because the story kind of kept on going, and the impetus always, to get back to your first question, Charlie, I did two kids parties today. So, I'll have a kid ask me like, hey, aren't all clowns scary? And that it always bugs me, that like, I just feel that, no, they're not, and then I'll say have a little bridge to get out of there. Like, you must be talking about my cousin Pennywise. He's gone all Hollywood, he owns a Cybertruck now, and he won't return my calls, and but I didn't like that. I still don't. I don't like that. It's not that I have anything against horror clowns. I just feel like there's other clowns there too, because I think what happens is you kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater on a lot of this stuff. And we just don't have, because of the circus closing, and you don't have positive founding ambassadors right now. You just have the Art the Terrifier and the Pennywise. And I just kind of want to, I want to shake that up a little bit if possible, And I was lucky to get David Arquette in the doc, and he just bought the rights to Bozo. And so his mission statement. Yeah, so he's very much aligned, kind of, he's, and he's got his own stuff, but he lent time for us. And I thought that was super awesome, because he could easily be like, no, I'm going to focus on my brand. My brand's Bozo now, but he was still, our things overlapped enough. He's like, no, man, I'm into what you're doing. So he's just been a real ambassador. And John C. Riley, who I did his kids' parties back 20 years ago, and so he's been a friend. And I got everybody. I got Mike, who works with Puddles. There are still some success stories and some clowns. Puddles Pity Party is still selling places. Medical clowning. So I wanted to get those people too. And I even got Art the Terrifier. I got David Howard Thornton just because, I want to know. There's room for everybody, and that's basically what the doc is like. There's room for all of us. Let's just make sure that people know that there's others. There's others besides just Pennywise and Art the Terrifier.
Yeah, you guys working together is a good sign that it's going to lead towards a collaborative nature of the industry maybe growing, because we don't have any positive clown examples.
Yeah.
Like growing up, I had something called JP Patches here in Washington.
Yeah, he was our local.
Yeah, he was a local guy, and he was just a beloved guy, and he had this cross-dressing Gertrude the clown, dude that was his sidekick, and
for decades.
For decades, yeah. And it was a positive, really well put together show. So I'm excited to see this production.
Oh, I appreciate that. That sounds great. I wish I'd like to learn more about him. I think there was this, right? There was this real part of it is where we are. And I've talked about this before. I mean, back in the turn of the century, you had Weary Willie, who was kind of the hobo clown. He originated the look where it looks like hobo-ish, and he was like around the Great Depression.
Got the bag over his shower.
We had that Bindle stiff.
Bindles have never gone out of style. No. Let me remind you.
Those are great, yeah. And he was wonderful, and so that was a sign of that times. And then you had Lou Jacobs in the 50s, and he started getting into the Bozo and the McDonald's and those guys. The kind of the corporations kind of embraced that clown for a while until it became less fashionable, and then everyone's trying to shed the image in the 2000s and trying to get rid of that stuff. And then we get these horror clowns, which again, and that's just dominating. That's everything, right? Because Hollywood, who apparently has run out of ideas, they just want to keep firing. Like, what worked last time? Do it again. Do it again. Get another clown in there.
Reboot.
Reboot. It's easy. Like whatever. And so it's not going away. This is just a reality. When people are talking about it, and back when I was working for McDonald's, and people are like, "Well, this just lay low." Like, this isn't going away, man. This is not. It's in the head. It too, and then there's going to be something else, and there's a new movie called Clown in the Cornfield. Eventually, people will tire of it. They'll be like, "I'm tired of seeing killer clowns," And then they'll just be like, "But we're going to go through a lot of it, and it's just going to be something that we have to kind of embrace and combat." I always think of it like, steering into a skid, like you think like, "Oh, Jesus, I'm scared." Just steer into it, man. Let's embrace it. Let's just, come on, horror clowns, come on over here. We're all in this together.
Did you get Homie the clown?
I didn't get Homie.
Did you try?
No, I did not try to get Damon. I wish I would have. That would have been great. I did not. There was the producers on the film always wanted. They always want. They let's get Zach Galifianakis. Let's get everyone who's ever played a clown in the history of the world. They want to get them on it, and I support that. But I think then you start, because I have a lot of rank and file clowns in this, and so then once you do that, you're kind of booting other people out, and then I feel like it starts to lose its thing. Like, you're great. You've got big names that have played a clown on whatever, and maybe they have something to say, but you're not hearing about the people that have been working in clowning for the past 20 or 30 years.
That was their career. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that does them a disservice. So I think at some point was like, okay, we've got a lot. If I move, it's like when you buy too many clothes. It's like every jacket I get, I got to move a jacket out. I can't keep doing that, So I think that's how it felt with this documentary. We could always do American Clown 2. This story, it doesn't resolve itself. Not to be a spoiler alert, but this is an ongoing thing. We had really wanted to, because there is a lot of success in some clowning areas. I mean, medical clowning, which didn't exist like it does 20, 30 years ago. It's still very much kind of a successful endeavor for a lot of clowns, and a lot of people that used to do birthday parties or whatever else. They're like, well, shoot, I'm doing this now, and So I think there is some success stories that are worth, kind of like a touting, because I think what gets buried under the headlines is just scary clown stuff a lot,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, you mentioned that you had taken some footage because you had started filming some time ago. How far back are we talking?
Well, my kids were just born, so it was 2017, and they're almost 8 now. So I've been doing this for 8 years because that was the time that I was like, I talked to my employer wasn't McDonald's, it was the Southern California owners and operators of McDonald's, and they were like, I was like, maybe I should be full time, and I get it, I can get benefits and that sort of stuff. So I was always a part-time Ronald and part-time Tom. That's what we called each other. Where Tom is an acronym for top of the market. So we're the ambassador of fun. None of us we work with Ronald. None of us are Ronald. We work with him. And then you would obviously there's only one Ronald. So you work with him. And then at that time, towards the end, it was just like, I don't know if we're gonna, I was wanting to get full time, and then it felt like by the end of the year, it's like, you know what, I'm fine just having 3 days a week. I just want to keep my job. And then we were all like,
Yeah.
So
how'd you get involved with this? What was your first clowning gig? How old were you?
I did it in junior high for a little bit. I grew up in Texas, and I was like I think they call it in the South, they call it carrying clown, and it's stuff that's ministry, and then because it's goodwill and it's that sort of stuff, you're not necessarily spouting Bible verses, but you do things at church events and stuff. And so I learned how to do balloons. I did my first clown. I remember taking my old Air Jordans and taking duct tape and spray painting them and putting on like fronts of shoes and stuff. And so I got really into it. And then, and then high school, I got into girls, and I got like in sports and stuff. Everything kind of turned. And then when I got into college, I decided I was a diver, a springboard diver, but I was just not much of a jock. And then I was a walk-on for University of Tennessee. And it's just, I love those guys. They're great guys. They're listening, but like, they were just very jocular, more than I was, and just felt like it wasn't my tribe. And so I got into an acting class, and I remember being at this long table and Argentinian acting troupe. I got cast as play Peter Schaffer play called Royal Hunt of the Sun. And I'm like a spear shake. I'm just whatever. It's like totally miscast, but I'm on the stage with all these great guys, and they were taking over a restaurant like theater people do. And I remember like looking around like, oh my, these guys hardly speak English, and these guys are more my tribe. This is my tribe, and I'm with the wrong tribe. So I got into acting. I moved from Tennessee back to Texas, where I'm from. And I got into the acting program, but I really, because I was an athlete and I could flip and do tumbles and stuff, you always, we put our best foot forward, right? Like I was not a musical person. Didn't have this great, but I was a tumbler. So I was like, oh, I can do all this clown stuff, all the Shakespeare roles, people throwing me, flipping me, stuff like that. And then when I moved out to LA, because I could do that and I needed my time off for auditions, I became a clown on the weekends, and I worked for other companies. And then I started my own company, probably 2003. This is before the internet even. I mean, this is like, this is like when people I was Clowns for Hire initially because I wanted the A in the yellow pages. Like,
that was your SEO.
Yeah, it's Clown for Hire, and then there was a database called Clowns for Hire, and then I was like, well, how do I get on that database if I have the same name? And he's like, you don't. I was like, oh, dude, well, what do I do? He's like, well, you're Los Angeles, right? Why don't you become Los Angeles Clown or something? And I jumped off. The domain name was there; it was available. And the rest was kind of history, It's just like, the internet. I mean, just everything kind of took off after that, And because of that, I got calls from production companies, and I, kind of early on in my career, saying, "Hey, we're looking to cast this commercial, and do you have any clowns?" And the company's only one person deep, so I was like, "Well, let me look around." I do.
That's right here.
It's a yes.
That's
from the top. It's good.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like you're one of the go-to clowns in Hollywood. Do you get a lot of calls when they need
I want to be. I do think I am. I have some people like. I think I. There's probably a handful of us. There's a dozen of it. there's enough of us where if somebody else gets it, we're always like, God. You know, or I had something auditioned for the Pit recently, and I was so pissed off that I didn't book it. I was like, and I did all clown. I went though, you know, I did a big swing, you know. Yeah, I was like, no one's going to be like a clown in this. And I finally looked it up, and I was like, who booked it? And it was this guy that I know, because that's how small this organization, you know, it is. My level of actors also. This guy Skylar Stud, I've worked with him, but at first I was like, he's not a clown, you know, he's not a clown. That's because they don't need a clown. I mean, sure, the guy's a clown in there, but half the time that they're doing something for TV, film, they don't want a clown. I mean, they don't know that because they want an actor that can be a clown. But there's a lot of clowns that can be a little bit big. You know, I mean, they're too much.
Yeah,
they're just too much. You're like, you know, it's like I don't. That's not my clown. My clown is like, once I'm in my stuff, this is my clown. I'm the same. I just wear the outfit, basically. You know, I have a set, like I like to think of it as Superman getting a cup of coffee. You know, that he's all dressed out, he's all decked out, but he's grabbing his coffee. Like that's my creative area, you know?
What about some of your crazy Freudian or Jungian mask transformation or anything?
Oh, no, once you put it on, you're just like, okay, here we are. You know, it's just like, great. And if I've done jobs before and they're like, oh, can you give us a silly voice? Or I was like, oh my God, this will be one of those. Like, it's going to be tough because this is not what I like to do. It's not me, you know? This is not me.
But like you say, you do like acrobatics and physical comedy, right? But and balloons, but like juggling or any other kind of sight illusion or any weird.
You know, I'm a master of all, a jack of all trades, master of none. Like I'm enough. I can get away with doing a lot, hat tricks, juggling, that sort of stuff. But if you want to go crazy specialty, there's somebody that does it. Like in any trick that you're good at, there is some lovable loser that has spent 40,000 hours on it. Like he just doesn't have a life, just has done that nonstop, and he's like crazy good at it. You can't have a conversation with him. But he's amazing. You know, he's amazing at that. So I learned early on, it's the same thing as a musician. I mean, I play guitar and stuff, and I learned early on, and I use it for songwriting and all that. But like, there's going to be a guy that plays a lead better than me. You know, I'll just find that guy that does that, and then have him support you. You know, and so I kind of feel like that as a clown too. That there's someone. I'm more like I'm the face, and I will talk it through, but I'll get that other guy to be just like the badass that can do it, you know? So, but I do a little bit of everything, right? I got hats. I do a little bit of everything, but I get frustrated easy.
Let's do a little role playing. So if you had your choice and you were given a primetime TV ad slot to rebrand clowns for America, what would the vibe of the ad? Who's starring in it, and what message are you sending to win hearts back of clowning? I want to go over that.
Wow, what? And I can cast anybody, huh?
Anybody, like
anybody. Okay, well, Chris Farley. Chris Farley, and it would be kind of like just really trying to clown and to do good, and then almost like the.
Oh my God, that sounds brilliant.
Like the bit where he's trying to talk to Paul McCartney, and then like how much people are going to love clowns and getting frustrated because this isn't going well. And he really wants people to love clowns. And this is so cool. Clowns are so good. And then, you know, just to fall apart.
Man, you brought back Chris Farley. Chris Farley. We need another one of those to come.
I love that guy, man. I love him.
What a character.
When he has the right heart, right? I mean, he's just got the right, he just has, I mean, and no horrible pun intended. Like there's like he had the right compassion, and he was big and lovely and
authentic.
It got so authentic, you know. And I think that's what, you know, my last question for American Clown whenever I interviewed people is like, what do you think a clown needs? You know, like what? Because it's not about a nose or big shoes. None of that is really necessary. You know, we have that, or even makeup, you know, it's just, it's something more than that. And I think what it is for me, it's just true compassion for your audience, you know, like just like something that, or compassion for, just for the vulnerable, that there's just something that we need to protect, that innocence that we need to protect and not let people squash out,
Was there a time in which you kind of realized that, like this is the important part of a clown, like the clowning industry, that's what makes a clown a clown, like the authentic clown you're talking about, Chris Farley. Like, yeah, that sounds like it's your personality. Where do you get that from? Is that from your mom and dad, obviously, or your environment growing up, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's right. I mean, if anything, and my dad is very much. I mean, I don't know if I'm of the generation where like you didn't have emotions, you couldn't have emotions. I don't have time for your damn emotions. Just hold it together. Like I to this day hear a kid cry in a restaurant, and I get like, my dad would like turn to me, grab me, and I love my father. I'm not saying if you cry one more time, I'm gonna lock you in this trunk. Like my dad was like, he would scare you, and you would stop freaking out, and you'd be like, oh my God, I might die if I don't stop crying. So I became, and I think that was how he was raised probably. And he was much younger than I am. I mean, I think when I'm my age now, my dad was my age that I'm right now, and I was 21. Like, it's just, I've waited longer, like a lot of us do. And so I'm a little bit mellower as dad, I'd like to think, at least. But I think that I'm like I am in spite of my father trying to stamp out vulnerability. Like I made a career out of being honest and vulnerable and not feeling smart. I mean, that's probably a reason why I'm a clown, is like I always felt dumb, or like I couldn't say things right or whatever else that, And
some of the funniest people end up being, having traumatic backgrounds that are like, the Steve Martins of the world, or the who just passed away, killed himself.
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, right?
Yeah.
Those people come from a traumatic background, probably of some nature, and they had to be a fly on the wall and watch how everybody else reacts or acts, and so they emulate the world, and they kind of help guide the conversation for their own protection.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. And I also think there's an element, I have, I feel like my motor runs a little bit low. Like I'm a motorcycle guy. And so I had this motorcycle, and it always would just kind of like rev a little bit under. And so if you really didn't ride the gas a little bit, it would just cut out. And so you had to ride it a little bit until it got warmed up. And I feel like that's my emotional sort of middle, is like you got to rev it a little bit. Like I'm a little bit empty, I guess I'm a little bit suppressed. But making other people laugh and that stuff, it brings me up, it buoys me a little bit, and it gets me humming a little bit stronger. And I would probably hazard to say a lot of us are like that, that we need it for fuel and to make people laugh. And, and I did that. My parents were divorced. And so I did that with my sisters. And if people laughed at me, that told me that like, not everyone's mad at me, like people, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of psychosis to it, like everyone, like we're okay. If you're laughing at me, we're okay. I mean, my audience was my wife right now, and she hardly ever laughs. I'm like, I don't know if we're good or not. It reminds me that like, okay, I'm being received well because I'm being laughed. You're constantly, and I think that's probably, the industry wide for a lot of us bozos.
And you end up getting everybody else loosening up too, because if you have a bozo in the crowd, right, doing the craziest shit, it kind of gives permission to everybody else to kind of play too, right? Yeah. And act and be and find out what's inside of them. Because you're trying to find out what's inside of you, I'm assuming, by every appearance you make, right? We're all trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. And I think you're just trying to, you're leveling the moment. You're taking the piss out of a lot of like, stress. And it's just, you're trying to alleviate just any stressful situation, and I love that, man. I hope I have a zinger a second before I die, I really, I want to have that all the time. I mean, I think that we need a place. Like, I don't like just humor. I like gallows humor. I want it like the darker the better, because that's like how I feel like life is,
Monty Python-esque kind of stuff.
Like
absurdity of life.
Yeah, just how, like I hope I would have a great, like if it was like we were all Mayans and we are going up to the top of the pyramid to get our heads decapitated. I hope I turn to somebody like, hey, catch my head, will you? I hope I would have something funny like that, because it's so bleak. It's so bleak.
Yeah. I got a recommendation for you if that's something you like to do. If you ever find yourself falling off the Sears Tower, just go real limp, because somebody watching might think, hey, free dummy, and then catch you. That's a Jack Handy quote, by the way. I didn't make that up. I just love that.
Jack Handy. I love Jack Handy. Yeah.
So, movie premieres coming up on the 23rd. Is that
correct?
Right?
Yeah. So June 23rd, it premieres at Dances with Films, which is here in Hollywood. It's kind of right there in the famous Grauman's Chinese Theater. It's one of the subsequent theaters that are kind of in that sort of Hollywood Highland Kodak-y, where they do the Academy Awards and stuff now. It's really fun, and it's going to be, you got a restaurant on the 4th floor. It should be a really fun experience. And then, then we're going to we'll probably have other film festivals. And then we're going to look for a distribution deal. That's the way this stuff goes. Your documentaries don't usually, unless you've got some weird capturing the Freedmen's vibe and something else happens in the doc, they aren't just crazy money makers. But I'm hoping that I really want to connect with an audience. And I think we're at a unique time. I live in Los Angeles, and so not only do I do kids stuff, but I do a lot of stuff for the average 30-year-old. Hey, I'm doing an event at a bar in Silver Lake. Will you come down? And I gotta say, like, there's so many young people who are like, dude, I love clowns. I just love clowns. And it doesn't have the stigma that a lot of this older generation, my Gen X guys and stuff, it's not like as fashionable to hate on clowns, which I think a lot of sometimes my older friends kind of feel, or people, if I go to parties, it's kind of like this way of bonding. They're like, oh yeah, clowns. And it feels like, well, I mean, okay.
I'd like you to be my best friend and like take you to all kinds of parties. Like, you'd be a cool stupid human, right? You'd be a great sidekick, right?
Dude,
my name's Jeff, but this is my good friend Guilford. Go Guilford.
I would love that.
Wind you up and then let the string kind of. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh man, it's been really nice talking to you guys. So yeah, we're gonna hit the road, and then maybe if we can't, we might do kind of a little tour and send the movie around and have some clowns follow it and just do kind of a little sort of
road trip
where we go, a little road show. We'll see.
Seattle's a good film town.
It really is, yeah.
Because there's a lot of film support in Seattle.
Okay. Yeah, well, I would love that. We'll definitely start on the West Coast, because that's where we are.
Yeah, easy to get to.
Get in your clown van and head north up to Seattle. See us in.
It's a Mini Cooper, but there's about 12 of us that will get in.
Awesome, nice. Anything else that's new for you coming up that we should keep an eye out? Any acting gigs or anything that?
There's there's a couple movies. I did a movie called Better Than a Shovel, which is I play the dad of a young cannibal. I'm not sure.
Nice.
It's going to be a race to see which one happened first, and it looks like this documentary is beating it. But that could be coming out soon. And as far as any other TV shows, the industry's a little slow right now, so it's kind of a good time to have kind of other irons in the fire. So, but anything can change, I audition all the time. And, just something
if
else.
this gets distributed you want it to, you're going to be the #1 clown in LA. For sure.
For sure.
I'll take that. There's a lot of good bozos out here, but I'll take #1. I need the money. My kids need the money. So
I have to ask this. What was your experience with Steve-O? Did you have some absurd experiences, or is he just all cleaned up now and like flying straight and
yeah, he's heavy in his sobriety, and it's not a bad thing. And at the time we did a and I really wanted to talk about that, because at the time I was hitting it pretty hard, and that was before the pandemic hit. But we never really got a chance to talk about it, and he's just a pro, man. He was so good. And he tells these stories. I'll tell a story. one of the stories he told was, and I don't think it made it in the doc, but he says he's lamenting the loss of this costume that he had, and he got it from Ringling. He saved everything. Like he saved his, he saved, you do like a big report, and you write the report and you send it in with your application, and he had it, like he had it, stuffed it in a box somewhere. And, but he was telling me this thing about how like this car got impounded and it was full of weed. And then, and this is back before Jackass and stuff. And his costume was in it. And he's like, yeah, it's just horrible. I think about that costume all the time. And then later on the day, we did the interview. We're going to do a walk and talk. He's showing us, oh, hey, let me show you this stuff up here. And he's grabbing this stuff down, and he's like, oh, here's the application. Look, he's reading it. It's a great penmanship, And then at one point he said, pulls out like, oh, hey, here's my costume right here, man. And it's just like, he had it in his box. He's like, I didn't even know I had it. I thought I lost it in that car. Like, it's ridiculous.
That's really. Were you at his house?
Yeah.
That is.
He was so sweet. He was in the class that I would have been in '97. I auditioned, but I didn't paperwork is never my thing. And I was so irritated at my audition that I didn't follow through with the paperwork. So I didn't get in '97. And that was the last year they did Clown College. But a bunch of my friends that I ended up making after that in LA and elsewhere all went in that '97 year. So, like Matt Walker, Matt Morgan, my friend, Tina Groff, just a bunch of them. So I was able to connect with him through that, because they're like, dude, I know Steve-O. And they were all like, dude, Steve-O, what's Steve-O gonna do? And that comes up in the interview. My friend Matt Walker is like, poor Steve-O. The guy could do a handstand on a skateboard and could do all this cool shit, but I just felt bad for and it's like in here, Steve-O is the one that's kind of the breakout guy out of that class,
And sobriety probably is a big part of that, right? Because you talk to people.
Think so. I think so. I think he would say, and I follow his sobriety stuff, and I'm free of alcohol. I'm Cali sober, what they call. But he's very I don't know if he'd have the career that he had before that. I think they would consider him he might be dead. I think he'd probably say he'd be dead. We didn't have time to talk about that. He talked, probably eons about it.
Yeah.
But I know it's a big part. Like, I think we stopped filming twice so he could talk to people he was sponsoring, or sponsors or whatever. So he's really into it, man, and I love him. He was such a pro doing it. He would like have this long-winded story, and he'd mess up. Like, okay, hold on, let me take it again. So, and he'd like truncate it, and we don't pay people for documentaries to sit down for an interview. So for these people to do it out of the goodness of their heart and a sign of, it's just, I'm always like just in awe that somebody would do this. It's because they love clowning. They love what you're doing, and they want to support it. And as far as I know, Steve doesn't even know this is like been done yet. I need to reach out to him and say, hey, we finished. He's like, oh yeah, what happened to that? Did you finish? Because people never finish anything. People never finish this stuff. I know clowns that are like that. We had a guy, JJ Harrison, and he was like, and he was a cowboy clown, a rodeo clown. It's like, I've probably done 15 of these. I've never seen one. So I'm just happy that we finished, and that they can see it. Kind of makes up for all the times that they haven't been able to.
Are you able to send us a copy of it so we can watch it?
Yeah,
I will. Once we go there, I will send you guys a copy. Let me get it up and running at the film festival, and then I'll give you guys a copy.
Awesome. Yeah. That sounds great.
And you can find it, I think it's gingerkidpro.com or americanclown.com. Is that?
Americanclownmovie.com has the trailer. And you can also find us on Instagram at American Clown Movie. And then, we'll update it and things and kind of developments and stuff. So yeah, that's
any ways you want us to promote you at all? Like, any avenues that you would recommend, or just on our normal channels?
Yeah, I think Los Angeles Clown Company, Instagram at Los Angeles Clown Company, and American Clown Movie, I think at Instagram is probably the best, just so we can kind of keep them updated.
Right on. Well, Guilford? Gilly? Clown Gilly?
Yeah,
thanks so much.
Thanks so much, you guys, and let me know if there's anything else I can do for you, because you guys are all great, and I want to support you guys whatever way I can.
Yeah, and we'll send you a link when we air this. It'll be a week from Tuesday, probably on that show. So we'll splice it in and let you know.
Okay, thanks, gents. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Thanks
All the
so
best
much.
to you.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, that's great.
We are so good at interviewing, and I've got to apologize to everybody. I'm not that great with Zoom, so Jeff doesn't actually appear on camera except for a little bit in the first part.
That's okay.
But you hear him; he's there.
I had a pimple. It was better that you didn't see the pimple.
Yeah. I think what happened was we set it to voice record through my laptop, which Jeff wasn't on, so
exactly.
it only records who's speaking at
your
the time.
video.
Yes.
It only records.
On the screen, it showed all of us, which was weird. And that's why I can't figure out why.
Wouldn't that have been?
Maybe there's a stupid setting.
Indicative of what it was pretending.
Hey, we're learning.
Yeah, I use Zoom once a year, so forgive me. But Jeff was there. I was there. I can assure you. He was,
and being a good host, he was
hand on my
engaging. You were
knee the whole
charming. I mean,
I was really good.
Yes, he was.
Y'all missed out.
Y'all missed it.
I got excited. I got a little bit of a
expressions and all that. But yeah, what a great guy. So again, folks, AmericanClownMovie.com, or if you're down in the LA area or traveling that way, 623 at the Dances with Films Festival. He will be showing it off.
Nice.
And you'll get to see it before
he's going to be there?
He's going to be there.
Geez, that's fantastic. Yeah, best of luck to him. I hope it's just a blockbuster. Yeah, good work. He finished a film, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's for real.
Yeah, I love the part where he was talking about when he was interviewing like other clowns, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, so and so was making a documentary and never saw the day of light."
Oh, sure.
Right.
Sure.
And now he's been working on this since like 2017 or something. I think he said so.
Jeez, through a pandemic, through I'm sure a lot of changes in technology, etc. All these things impacting his career.
Yeah,
and he still got it done.
Yeah, and that was a great story about Steve-O. I love that.
Yeah. He found his pants or shirt.
His whole costume.
His whole costume. Yeah, the clown costume. Oh, there it is.
He thought he lost.
And he's a good impersonator too.
Yeah.
He's got a good Steve-O.
Oh man, boys, you want to jump into some headlines?
I would love to.
Not funny at all in any kind of way. The Boulder, Colorado firebombing.
I haven't heard about that.
You haven't? So there was some older folks that were down sort of demonstrating, trying to get the rest of the Israeli hostages released from Gaza. So they've been doing this like once a week to try to raise awareness.
Down in Boulder?
Down in Boulder, Colorado. And this fucking piece of shit came and just threw Molotov cocktails at him.
And a homemade flamethrower of some kind.
What? He had tried to buy a gun, but because his his status, his residency status, he wasn't allowed to, so he went with another option.
Adapted. What a dick.
Just nuts. Nobody died as far as I know.
No, but there was like an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor and all this shit. It's like a complete fucking ding-dong.
It's a story. I mean, that's like a horror movie.
Yeah.
And
fire's bad, dude.
Yes,
oh, it doesn't. And if it's on you, it's not getting off.
Yeah, and they're not policymakers. They're citizens, dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, are you kidding me?
Right.
They're trying, and who doesn't want hostages released?
Right.
Who's pro-hostage?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like,
and this guy is like a father of.
And he overstayed his visa. It's like, I don't know, man.
I haven't heard about that one. I'll have to look into that. That's just terrible.
I was just down in Boulder in that mall because it took place right on the outskirts of the outdoor mall there on Pearl Street, and we had walked that whole thing, and the Mork and Mindy house is around the corner, so I went over and took pictures of the Mork and Mindy house. But we had spent the afternoon at that mall, like, I don't know, was that last year before?
That's right. That's really great.
But I saw that. I was like,
beautiful town. Beautiful town.
It is a really nice town.
Yeah, very walkable. And,
just a sad state of affairs.
Geez. And how do you even... You can't. The state can't make you safe against that.
No,
it's not possible, right? Because gasoline is everywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like, so that is a social cohesion problem.
Yes,
right. It's like a lack of ability for him to communicate his feelings without resorting to fucking, horror, right?
You're going right down to the base.
Yeah.
Problem is the mental health of people.
Because you can't. There's not enough police to be able to stop something.
No,
like that. It's not, and nor would we want such a level of security. You know what I mean? It'd be
oversight. I think we're going to get into that as we get down
anyway,
these things. But
yeah, let's not throw Molotovs at old people.
At old people.
I was at a coffee shop recently, and a guy came in and he threatened to throw Molotov cocktails into it. Yeah, it was a crazy deal.
Was he like a disgruntled regular person, or
he was a guy that came into town from Burien or White Center.
Well, there's your problem, Bobby.
Yeah. And he had a backpack on, and he just looked like he was up to something. And he called and said that his sandwich was terrible, and he wanted a refund. So the person behind the bar, behind the whatever, she went ahead and answered the phone and said, "Yeah, come on in, go ahead and I'll give you your money back." Well, he got there, and then I was sitting right there at the counter, and he was like, he was not in the right mind, and so we figured out that he hadn't bought it, and so Katie goes, "Do you have a receipt?" And he got mad, and he got just ugly mad, and then he went out, and then on the way back he comes in and he goes, "I'm going to throw a Molotov cocktail in here," and then he's being found now, and I guess he has got a rap sheet like a mile long for that scam and for being very threatening, and also to a judge when he was threatening to kill a judge and that sort of thing. It was really surreal. It was very surreal.
He needs to find other ways to deal with his feelings again, doesn't he?
Yeah, we need a hug or something.
Whatever it is, but we have to take responsibility for our actions, and threats are actions.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, unless you really are a clinically irrational person, right? And then you've been...
Well, even if you're a clinically irrational person and you're taking the medication necessary, those medications have side effects that are suicidal tendencies, wanting to harm others, depression, all those sort of things. I think if you look at all of the school shootings and mass shootings, all of those people were on some sort of SSRI or some medication that has these kinds of side effects, which is shitty.
Well, if that's true, that's...
Oh, it's absolutely true. I said it. It must be true.
Yeah.
Look it up for me.
Because that would be that would be a key indicator, now, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It's terrible.
Well, you know what else is true? The love affair between Elon Musk and DJT seems to have come to an end.
Oh, no, it's over.
Yeah.
No, he said he was on the Epstein list. You know what I mean? It's like...
That was just today, right?
Yeah.
Musk did?
Musk said that Donald Trump was on the Epstein list, and that's why the FBI is
It's
covering
getting
it
ugly.
up.
It's getting ugly.
We all know he was on the list.
Right.
Sure.
Right. But nobody in his circle has...
How many
has
millions of followers, and I use the term to exactly how you heard it, does Elon Musk have?
Yeah.
Tens of millions.
Yes.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he could just buy ad time. He can primary any politician. And now that he's turned on these guys, right?
Yeah. And before that, he was talking about how
I think that's
Trump wouldn't have gotten elected if it hadn't been for his money.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that just because of money? Because his popular appearances weren't that strong.
Right.
I like how Trump one time had a gaffe about talking about how Elon, because he knows computers, was able to fix Pennsylvania or something where you're like, did you mean to say that,
is that
bro?
really Freudian?
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
That's
it's
a
I don't
quote
know.
for the ages.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But we'll see. This will show the lackeys for the uber powerful that they'll turn on each other.
Yes.
So hopefully they take that and they recognize that.
Or it's just a part of the big show.
No, they're turning. Because they're all egomaniacal.
Oh, really?
There's no way they would play a game where they...
Look at what.
And this is Elon Musk talking this way to a president of the United States. Remember when he was just standing up in the... right next to the wrestler, just holding his kid, like it was a fucking daycare. It's like, man, that is the presidential office.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which for
reverence.
250 years has been, rightly or wrongly, kind of sacrosanct.
Yeah.
Right? It's like...
kind of what?
sacrosanct, like sacred to some degree.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Gotcha. All right.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. That's a big word.
I'm hooked on phonics.
I mean, if you walked into the Oval Office, you would have some kind of awe, right?
Oh, you'd probably, shake
It'd
it.
be
Unless
like the
you're
true
somebody
meaning of
who-
awesome, right?
Yeah,
like
but he really believes that he is humanity. He's like only hope because he really overemphasizes his intelligence, I think. But not his influence.
Not his influence.
Right? You can't overemphasize his influence.
Yeah.
Right? Which is the problem with the system that allows for economics to become more powerful than democracy.
Yeah.
Right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
That is one of the problems.
In more bad news, and I think we all sort of realize that this is happening more than just here, but the data analytics firm Planeter,
I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah.
is building a master list of personal information on Americans, and this is a signed executive order.
How is that beneficial to the U.S. citizen?
It doesn't have
How's
any
that helping
benefit.
you?
Nothing.
It's just a huge giveaway of analytics that can easily be used against us
And
to
not only
private
that,
enterprise.
But they've paid $113 million up till today in our tax dollars to this
We're
firm.
paying them to profit from our analytics.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody asked me about that.
No,
Nobody
not at
got
all,
my
dude.
concern.
Not at all. The damage is going to be long-lasting, people. Even if I could wiggle my witch
Tabitha.
nose,
Hello, Tabitha.
Yes,
Micatha.
it would still take. I mean, decades.
Decades.
We're talking about the dismantling of our rights.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I don't know, giving away everything to one person and saying, "Oh, you're going to take care of that? You're going to take care of all of that information and keep it safe because you have all the answers."
Yeah.
Right.
When we know that AI is out there and they can break any codes and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
I think the need for that separation is very important. The separation of powers, so that you have to go through the process.
Sure.
And it's not all about efficiencies.
No.
Efficiencies are not what we should be looking at.
No, government's not.
No.
Yes, exactly.
We shouldn't be looking at efficiencies as, look, we're more efficient.
No.
No, we're not. And you're not protecting me.
Yeah, and neither does business really. They only want it in others that they want to squeeze. Yeah, because in a business needs to be profitable. Efficiency is not really the thing, right? That's why they take pollution cost out of the equation.
Yeah.
They're not working more efficiently. They're moving the cost away.
That's right. That's right.
That's not efficiency.
No, that's
right?
bullshit. Yeah,
Yes.
that's bullshit.
And so by these guys being able to invade all of this, and we don't even know the extent of it, we probably never will because they don't care about presidential records and blah, 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 blah. So I don't know, man. It's not good.
It's the worst thing I can imagine.
Fuck, it's really bad.
Yeah,
it is.
It's the worst.
And dumb.
And we've been told.
I
think we've been told this is going to happen.
Government to the highest bidder is dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this product that they have is called Foundry, and it's already in at least 4 federal agencies, including Homeland Security, Health and Human Services Department, and a couple others. They're currently trying to sell it to the IRS, the Social Security Administration, and the Pentagon.
Yeah.
It's like
all of your data, dude. Every time. Everything.
Yeah.
It's a monstrous idea.
With and remember, the feds send it back to the states as it should be. Remember that that's good for abortion.
Yeah.
Right? But they're like, no state may make rules to regulate AI.
Yes, MTG was railing against this because she didn't read the fucking bill that
Where's
she
your
just
states'
voted
rights
for.
now, bro?
Right.
Yeah. And I call her bro, not to be disparaging.
Does she have a penis?
I don't know. I don't care.
I don't.
But I would cage fight her. I'd cage fight MTG for charity.
For charity,
I fully would.
Yeah.
Fully would. Anytime you want
I'll
to
arrange it.
And I'm older than she is.
We'd be in the ring.
Nice.
Beer sweat.
Corner man. That's a great
corner guy.
I will. I'll box MTG for charity.
Go for her leg. Go for the legs.
Yeah. You got to shoot on her. Oh, there's Deborah.
Sweep the legs, Johnny.
Yeah, do the illegal flying kick. Well, how did Ralph Macchio end up in I don't know. His whole career has baffled me. I don't know.
Don't read the bill.
What's the similarity though? What's the similarity with like 9/11 and the things that followed 9/11, which is the Patriot Act, right?
Yes.
The Patriot Act took away a lot of our freedoms as well.
It did. More so, I think, on the side of like due process and stuff like that. You gave up a little bit of that.
And
I've got to take my shoes off at the fucking airport.
Yeah, that was separate from Patriot, though. That was because the one dude with a double-digit IQ was trying to bring a fucking bomb in his shoes. But just like with the Molotov cocktail thing, it's like, and I do kind of buy that they don't know it until they know it sort of thing. The 9/11 itself, they had done exercises against that very operation. Right, so it's like they knew a 9/11 operation was possible.
Oh yeah, the operation was talked about.
I'm not buying that. But the shoe bomber thing, maybe nobody really thought about that, right? Yeah. I'm not super mad about that. And just become a millionaire, so you just don't have to bother with any public airport shit at all. You just pay enough money, you go through. They don't search rich people.
No.
Are you kidding me?
Tuck cutter into giving you a 747.
Yeah. No. That's only for the schmucks, dude. Oh yeah.
No, I'm upset at the whole degradation of my security. I don't feel safe anymore with my government, with anything. The deterioration of our voice to be able to speak out is going to be in question. Yeah. People are starting to like.
Oh, for sure.
Like I don't see as many people on Facebook and that sort of thing voicing their opinions and issues, that sort of thing, as I used to. And I remember I was a pretty big advocate of like the 9/11 conspiracy back when it happened. I was like, guys, this is an absolute conspiracy. And now it's all probably on the table. Those buildings were fucking blown up.
Now we just don't talk about it at all, bro.
Right, don't talk about it at all.
Up. Yeah.
Right, so we're being suppressed, and we're all agreeing with it.
Well, in the framework gets shifted all the time.
What framework?
The framework of the war on terror, right? So they had to have the 9/11 cause as it was given to us, right? So that the war on terror could continue.
Could continue.
But now that we've kind of shifted to China, right? So it'll be a different set of frameworks to.
Well, now it's the information world. It's the online, the cybersecurity, and that sort of thing, and money.
Yeah, I don't know.
Crypto.
Boys, expect to pay higher electricity bills this summer, obviously because it's getting hotter and hotter. But they're expected to reach their highest average rate in 12 years at $784 for this summer period. And that's because of cranking up AC,
that's in that's Northwest?
Just across the country, nationwide. And that's according to the National Energy Assistance Directors Association, because it'll be a cruel summer.
Nice.
You're gone.
And AI's snacking up a lot of electricity, right? And it's going to get priority over everybody else.
I heard a statistic that one nuclear power plant is one mega. How do they?
There's megawatts, but I think there's multiple megawatts typically.
No, they're like 1 megawatt is what I was told. Oh. Yeah, and AI is expected to take 17 megawatts just for its use.
Period, just across the board.
Yes. Wow. That's how much energy it's going to require.
Yeah, jeez.
So why did we build that fucker if it's going to destroy humanity and it's going to take all our and make higher energy bills for me?
Well, because those fake cat videos are so awesome.
Well, and that also means that stuff that could be using electricity is not going to, because we're not building more transmission lines except to server farms.
Yeah.
Right? Just like we build roads to malls or factories, but we're not fixing sidewalks in poor people's neighborhoods. Right? Because we only have so many finite resources, they get prioritized typically to big ticket shit, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But the thing that bothers me, and it's just like with car tires or AI farms or whatever the fuck, it's like we don't have the secondary plant. Yeah. Like the garbage plant. Like what happens? We make millions of automotive tires.
Yeah.
All of them could turn into just buried scrap. Every single one. Yeah. There's no steps to turn that into something else or to get rid of it in a smart.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's full cost accounting that is not being taken into account. So when you, I think we've talked about that before, but if you take a business model and it doesn't work all the way to the end of its life cycle, then it's not
complete.
It's not doable.
Yes.
You haven't figured out the whole process.
And it's not regulated all the way through.
Yeah. And I would say this AI, the server farms that we're describing, it's like we don't have it's not planned out. right?
Well,
and it's dumb. It's dumb because then
it's like any tech thing. They just go ahead and put a program out, or they put a computer out, and then it's broken. It's not even finished, and then they fix it along the way.
Yeah,
that's how they do that.
Yeah,
is programs that we get.
Forward or something.
Here's Microsoft 95. And let's just build on it. Let's make Windows 10 now. Yeah. That's a terrible idea too. But
that's how we all
everything's being fixed. It's all an experiment.
Yeah. Wowee.
Power of the machine.
God, that's going to be terrible.
I'm actually looking forward to a little peace and quiet myself.
And those Slurpees.
Headphones. Yeah, just like
the big giant bagel.
Yeah.
Wally.
Such a great movie.
Boys, did you hear about this story in our backyard up in Whatcom County? A semi-truck carrying 250 million bees crashed. And they're likely, and I haven't heard anything different, European honeybees.
Yeah,
that's the ones that have,
typically the Italian three-banded.
Is that what it is?
Typically. For this neck of the woods, that's what we usually use.
Yeah.
So it fell over, which is it happens a couple times a year, actually, in the United States. I found.
Does it?
Yep, it does. Yeah. It's not a one-off. And they're pretty smart. Bees are really smart.
Yeah, typically they'll just come back to the hive at some point.
Yeah, they'll sure try to.
Well, that's the humanity of the thing. They got a bunch of people that knew what they were doing and put those hives back together, and then the hives, started to recolonate.
The queen was
if they can get the queen back. Yeah.
They're expecting to get most of it back, but it lends itself to the delicate nature of our system, right? We get rid of bees, we get rid of humans.
Yes.
Right? All life on the planet kind of goes away.
Yeah. You can still make the Wally drink without them, though.
I know. Thank God for synthetic
artificial sugar.
Yeah. It's the insect paste. It's the roach paste from snow peas.
It's delicious. This one tastes like bacon.
Yeah, but bees are good, and I think I'm going to start raising bees again.
Are you?
Yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah. I think Robert Cugini has I think 12 hives up on the hill, and he does a honey thing every year.
Do you need a certain amount of area to do it, or
no? They travel anyway. So
just regulated by the city or anything.
Oh, no,
like in City of Renton, you can have a couple of chickens, but no roosters.
Don't ask, don't tell.
I was about to say that same
keep
thing.
It inside. That's right. It's way in the backyard.
How many hives were you running before?
Oh man, I had 3 sets. I think the most I read was 4 or something, right? But then you put additional boxes on top.
How much honey could you
fucking
produce?
Gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons. Oh
honey's great.
Yeah, 20 gallons. I mean, never spoil.
Lasts forever.
It's a miracle thing, and they don't really mind. You don't have to take it, so they can just overwinter. You can overwinter your bees forever. Right? That's what they're doing. And just give them a place that they can grow into their space or whatever. But you can harvest it.
You also get beeswax, or is that a specialty?
No,
kind
you
of
sure
bee?
can. It just
that's from the comb, isn't it?
Yeah, but then it takes them a lot of energy to replace that wax.
Oh, because that's what they're living.
But typically, if you've got beat up, because you'll want to switch them out once in a while because they'll get beat up and kind of hard and stuff like that.
What gets beat up?
The comb itself.
Oh, the comb itself.
Yeah,
okay.
So you can switch those out.
Okay.
Right, but to do that often really does cost them a lot of calories.
Yeah.
Right. So
is it that the things you slide down into the bee thing,
the
frames, do those actually have the combs already, and then they just fill them in?
Some yes, some no. You can get them with just 2 strings tied. I've seen them without the strings, but the strings kind of suggest where they will begin to build this flat plate that then they build the hex out of.
It's amazing.
Oh, they're the shit, dude. No, I mean, dude, if all y'all are into a fascinating hobby, because you don't have to harvest from them, they keep to themselves. They do all the work.
Yeah.
You can just hang out and watch them. They are the best.
Pollinate your garden.
They're a good example of what it's like to be a good human. If you're a good human, you're like a bee.
Yeah, because they plan for a generation they will never meet.
Yes.
They work towards a better future for a generation they will never meet.
I love that term. That statement.
Yes, it is.
What a beautiful thing. We need a paradigm shift immediately anyway. So I think we should start promoting
overall that is what humans do, right? But we get talked out of that by some weirdos.
You mean by the media?
Etc.
Yeah, by having our televisions on.
Yeah, the media is just the loudmouth for the social structure, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the policymakers are deciding, right?
Right.
I don't know.
Man, oh man. Well, speaking of bees, has nothing to do with it. Taylor Swift has announced that she has been able to buy back her entire music catalog, undisclosed amount. But good for her.
But it's an 8-figure sum.
I'm sure.
Wow.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Somebody cashed in on that. John Fogerty's. Yeah, the ghost of John Fogerty is right behind her. You know.
Well, I was just going to say that we'll have a John Fogerty story. But yeah, so she was able to buy it all back. I guess she can now, she'll make money off of both the original versions and all the tailored version ones, which I think are slightly different. I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know any of her songs, but
well, I don't know. I don't listen. I mean, I'm sure that I've listened to some of her songs, but I don't remember. Having kids, I definitely have heard a few Taylor Swift songs, but I wouldn't be able to pick it out of a list, probably a lineup. But she's her Eras tour, unbelievably successful, and the power of her ability to pivot and take on the music industry. Congratulations. Well done, lady. Well done, because that sets an example. The record companies fuck the artists so hard. It's terrible.
Every time.
It's terrible.
It's gotten better. It's gotten better, but from the days of like the 50s when black artists just got, here's $100, record this song.
Right. And then I own all of your shit. And you have nothing. You can't even perform it live without paying me something. Right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh my
you mentioned Fogerty. Fogerty is set to release a new album filled with re-recorded versions of some of his old Cretan songs.
So he does have the ability to do so?
Yeah, so he actually won back, or was offered to buy back. So Fantasy ended up selling. Saul Zantz, I think, was the guy.
Something.
He was actually able to, somebody took over Fantasy, and then they offered to him to be able to buy back or buy into his catalog after 50 years or whatever it was, which just sucks. But he's doing this, and I think he's having more fun with it. He is calling it his versions, but he's re-recording them with his kids, which I think is pretty cool.
It's a great thing. His two sons.
And
Isn't he like 80?
I think he's just 80. Turned 80. Yeah. This is set to drop on August 22nd. His wife has produced it, his wife and son, and he's also playing on the album. He said, "For most of my life, I did not own the songs I had written. Getting them back changes everything. Legacy is my way." The album called Legacy is my way of celebrating that, of playing these songs on my terms with the people I love.
I mean, come on.
Fogerty.
That's great.
Jeez. And then
he was like a Haight-Ashbury time, right?
Late 60s. I think the first album 67, I think.
Yeah, dude. And if he was 17 then, right? I mean,
but they had like 5 #1 albums in the span of like 67 through 71 or something. Fucking
they had some talented people.
And it was just a unique sound.
Nobody else was doing that kind of swamp rock. And they're from like Lodi, California.
Wait, what?
San Francisco area.
But
there was another story that he at one time had gotten so frustrated with all of his shit that was going on with the Fantasy Record Company and losing. He signed away just to get out of the contract. He signed away his rights to the songs and stuff like that. Well, he ended up selling this custom, I think, Rickenbacker electric guitar that he had that had Acme on it. And he had Acme on it because it was he was a big fan of Looney Tunes growing up. So, and this was the guitar that he had played on most, if not all, of their big time albums, right? Cosmos Factory, the whole thing. And he had sold the guitar away, and years later, he had the opportunity to buy it back. But the guy that owned it was like, "Yeah, I want $40,000." And he started thinking about it. I was like, fuck, man, that's way too much money. And
that's extortion.
It's actually kind of given me animosity, because he's bringing back all these memories from his time and stuff. So he's like, nah, fuck it, I don't want it. I don't want it. And then years later, I guess his wife was able to track it down and bought it for him and gave it to him. But yeah, I mean, sometime in the 80s, some guy's like, $40,000 to buy your guitar back.
Yeah, that's extortion.
Some people are dicks.
Yeah. Jeez.
There was a similar story, I think, with Slash and the guy that plays the guitar for Aerosmith.
Joe Perry?
I think so. And Joe Perry had a special guitar that got lost somewhere, and somehow Slash came up with it. And he negotiated with Slash for a number of years for it. And finally, Slash, like 10 years later, just handed it to him on stage one day.
Come on, Slash.
Yeah.
Maybe it had great tone. He's like, you understand.
It was a good guitar. Yeah. Slash loved it.
Yeah, because I don't think Slash is hurting. He's not like, fuck. It's my only
I need
guitar.
the money, man.
Yeah. It's like,
so that must have been, knowing that, it must have been a special guitar.
I bet.
Not just for the nostalgia of it or anything, but if it played well, guitar players and musicians love a good instrument.
Yeah. Jeez. Here's some more good news, guys. Sydney Sweeney, you know who she is, right? The actor?
Kind of.
Was in Euphoria. She's been in some rom-coms.
I think she was in one of the White Lotus.
She was in the first season of White Lotus.
I never saw any of those songs.
Anyway, you can now, soon buy some soap that includes some of her bathwater.
No. Dude, we should do that.
Dr. Squatch and Sydney Sweeney have collaborated to launch Sydney's Bathwater Bliss.
So good.
It's every bar of soap has a touch of her bathwater.
Oh my God.
Only 5,000 bars of this soap will be made, so get on the waiting list, boys. And it's a medium grip soap made from pine bark extract, exfoliating sand, and droplets of the Euphoria star's bathwater.
Man, if anybody handed me some shit like that, I would sock him in the nuts. It's like, what kind of person am I?
My favorite meme of the week was, you remember in Christmas Story when Ralphie's got this soap in his mouth? And it was me 5 minutes after buying Sydney Sweeney.
Okay, that's funny.
That's pretty good.
And I think that's somebody's buying that shit.
Yeah. The scent
seems like a lot. But.
The scent, in a nod to Sweeney's Pacific Northwest roots, combines pine, Douglas fir, and earthy moss. And no joke, boys, no joke here, the scent, morning wood.
Oh, stop it. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. It's brilliant between those two people,
pun intended.
right? And it's about making money for everybody, I guess.
But they were in a writer's room going through that. They were having a good time.
They were.
Yeah, we got to call
what do you want to call it? Morningwood? Yeah, exactly. And if we're not just soap, we should put your bathwater in there. You guys all on acid or something?
Anybody know how to make soap? I mean, we could come up with our own shower drippings.
Well, let's do a little thing.
Who's the guy from Evil Dead? Bruce Campbell.
Let's
get Bruce Campbell's bathwater.
I'm sure you go for it. He's down
Maybe
in
it'll
Oregon.
be a trend, and everybody's going to have their own specific soap with bathwater.
Yeah. I love it.
Well, you don't need to fear from me, boys, because I ain't taking baths.
Yeah. Isn't it counterproductive to have soap when you're have bathwater in it?
Yeah, right.
And it's counterproductive.
Oh my God.
It's already dirty.
It's like you got to fight poison with poison.
Our soap will be called rain drippings. Or shower drippings or something. I don't know.
I didn't know she was from the Pacific Northwest.
I didn't either.
I don't know much about
Mike's moist musings.
A must-have.
Must-have. Mike's moist musk.
Special scent of Renton exhaust.
Yeah. Smells a lot like. Oh my God. Yeah.
Boeing 737 seats, like the new seat smell or something.
Oh my God, that new Mike smell.
That new airplane smell. Boys, few celebrity deaths this past week. Rest in peace, Loretta Swit. Passed away at 87. She starred on stage and screen, was in a number of things, but everybody's going to remember as Margaret Houlihan.
Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan.
Woo! Major.
Yes, Major. And she was a classic foil, classic straight man, just brilliant work on MASH, because she was that person that took all the shit from Hawkeye, BJ, and all the...
And she transitioned from that kind of sexist kind of, beauty person or whatever that everybody beats up to a respected human being by the end. I think it was 11 seasons.
Wow. She was nominated and won. Let's see. She was nominated for... I had it somewhere. I think like 10 or 11 Emmy Awards and won 9 of them or something crazy like that.
All for MASH or for
all
other
for
stuff?
MASH,
Right.
Jeez. Yeah, 1972.
Who was your favorite characters on MASH?
Hawkeye for sure.
Hawkeye? Yeah, Hawkeye was pretty good. That's Benjamin Hawkeye Pierce.
Yeah.
And then there's Maxwell Klinger. Klinger was pretty fun.
Klinger was great. Oh, yeah.
I kind of like the... whatchamacallit?
Father McKay?
The manager or whatever. The colonel. The colonel.
Oh, yeah.
Potter or Blake?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, Blake was
one?
Mackenzie Stevens.
No, I think it's the last one.
Yeah, that's who was in Dragnet, man?
Harry Morgan.
Yes, Harry Morgan
was the Potter.
Was Colonel Potter.
Yeah.
Oh,
horse feathers.
What about Charles Emerson?
Winchester
the Third. So good. He would show up once in a while.
Yeah.
Like after that show, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these people were probably on like Love Boat or Diagnosis Murder.
And Klinger was on.
After MASH?
No, after, I think, or the whole time.
Hollywood Squares and shit.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And, Joker's Wild and stuff like that.
Oh,
man, you're bringing me back.
Yeah. And I think maybe Jamie Farr also showed up on Gong Show, if I'm not mistaken.
He definitely did, yeah.
That's what I was
I mean, that's when you've arrived. It's like 11 seasons of MASH are okay.
Yes. God, speaking of Gong Show, I'd have to talk about that. Maybe in the fall.
Yeah.
Just think fall.
I'm down,
I'm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
A reboot.
A reboot. Right. Some new judges.
Yes.
Sure.
More talent. Yeah. Anyway, so rest in peace, Loretta Swit, 87. Rest in peace, James Lowe. And I didn't know this guy, but I know the band he was in. Lead singer of the Electric Prunes. Died at 82. They had a top 10 hit. I Had Too Much to Dream last night.
There you go. Electric Prunes. Now that you mention.
He was one of the guys coming out of that California scene that was really influential in that psych rock or that psychedelic rock sound. They were really the guys that kicked it off. I guess in later years, he sort of retired to behind the scenes and did a lot of recording engineering. So he worked with Todd Rundgren and a bunch of other people behind the scenes. So, Geez,
that song was yours. That's still a classic rock staple, I'm sure.
Everyone. So I had it on 45 back in the 80s.
That's cool. And I think electric back then was like Wolf now. If your band is like Blind Wolf, Purple Wolf, it's something Wolf. And back then it was like electric something.
Well, you had Electric Ladyland with Hendrix and
Oh, geez, and totally off topic, but I was watched a video of Scorpions from like 1971 or two, like old, with Uli Von Roth. Even before the Zoo, which is I've never not had a copy of the Zoo since I was 9 years old.
That was my first album I ever bought.
Incredible.
Wow.
But Uli Von Roth is a well-respected guitar player. No slouch.
I saw their 50th anniversary show down at the
Showware. Nice.
Center. It was great.
Who all was still in the band at that point?
They all were.
It's Rudolph, Matthias Jobs.
And they were doing some great. They were just
they're really
rock
good.
stars, man.
And
Queensryche opened for them.
Oh, come on, that's solid.
With the new singer, without the
Tate. Jeff Tate.
Tate's got his own thing.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I love the Scorpions.
Yeah, no, they're great.
I'm a rocker.
I love it, and I have nothing but respect for them, even as musicians.
Right,
they're fucking really good. And they were touring Germany when it was rough to do so, man. They were long-haired rocker kids.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Huh? So, I mean, they worked hard. They really did. But he was also completely ripping off Jimi Hendrix. I was watching him play, and I'm like, yeah, you're really good, but guess who did that
first?
You know? Yes. Well. And guess who did it better? The dude from up the block.
Right, the guy up on the hill.
And because Uli Von Roth is a very good guitar player.
Yeah.
But guess who's?
Yeah.
I mean, hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, right.
But it was cool, and it was nice to see.
Speaking of Queensryche, I had a girlfriend that grew up in New Orleans, was living in Ohio, so we had kind of a back and forth, long distance, whatever you want to call it, relationship. But one of her top 3 bands growing up was Queensryche, and they happened to be doing a Operation Mindcrime thing at the Paramount. I think it was Paramount or the Moore. This is probably 15 years ago. But I got to be the biggest fucking hero by taking her to that show.
Yeah.
In Seattle.
Wow. Yeah.
Nice.
At the Coliseum?
I was either at the I don't think it was Paramount. I must have been the Moore.
Nice. That's not
That's
terrible.
even better.
Yeah.
Paramount's great, but I mean, the Moore is like got
Yeah.
Seattle roots in it. Yeah.
And was that Jeff Tate's Operation Mindcrime?
He was still in the band at that point. This is before he spit on everybody and left the band, and now he does Operation Mindcrime.
Yes, that's the name of his
he walked away from the band, but I want Mindcrime.
Because that's his. He sat down and wrote that. The whole story behind that school. He's like walking in Canada on a snowy night, went into a church, and it just came to him.
Yeah.
It's so Jeff Tate. It's so Jeff Tate, dude. But he's really good.
Yeah.
Right, and it was a transformative album for the genre.
Yeah.
It really was for that kind of smart prog rock stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's. I mean, it's a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
It is. And they were doing, I think, the reunion or the anniversary.
It was the anniversary.
Yes,
at that
that's
point.
fantastic.
Yeah. So I got to take her, and I just was the fucking.
What year was that?
Good.
Roughly
2006 or 5, somewhere right around there.
Good. That's great. I love those memories. Those are gold.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Nice. I got to be the.
Winner.
Yes. Boys, rest in peace, Jonathan Joss from King of the Hill. He was the actor who voiced John Redcorn. He died in a shooting at 59.
Wait, no, he got murdered. The shooting kind of implies that he might have been shooting back.
Did they
and he was
figure
not.
out exactly what's gone on yet?
I think somebody arsoned his house.
Yeah, so his husband was saying that the neighborhood was picking on, homophobic bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's homophobia is such a wrong term because it's not that you fear homosexuals.
Yeah,
it's that you hate homosexuals.
You have an irrational hatred.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You have hate in your heart.
And they were of they were race mixing to boot.
Yeah.
So I think it was a double hate crime.
Double thing. So they were fucking with them for years apparently.
Yeah. And
who
shot
was
an
fucking
unarmed
with
man.
who?
The neighbors.
The neighbors were fucking with this guy.
Yeah.
For what purpose, though? Because they're gay?
Yeah. He was native, and his husband was.
Let's progress, people.
White guy or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
Just shit. So I just heard that he. I didn't any more details than he got shot by his neighbor.
No, and the husband says that he died saving his life. He blocked the bullet or something even better. It's like,
jeez.
Yes, and hopefully, the dude, can get some kind of justice, right?
Yeah,
hopefully the family gets justice and whatever that
Clean
looks
up
like.
that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you do, man? I mean, hate is an infection. Right? It's an infection. It's dumb, but it always has to be fed. It's like arson itself, right? It's always trying to consume that which it fucking rubs up against, right? It's like,
what do you mean arson?
Fire in general just wants to thrive and live, right?
Yeah.
Through destruction.
Yeah, and
right.
people,
Hatred's not building anything; it's destroying things.
Yeah.
It's melting things,
and
right?
What is it like the crowd, the mob mentality or whatever? That kind of an idea is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, sure.
Where you just get on the bandwagon and you're like, oh, I agree, I like that guy's hair, so I'm going to go ahead and do what he does, and you get programmed. You get programmed.
Yeah.
That's why they call it programming. People, we're all being programmed to believe certain things, and you get caught up in all of it, and you're gonna firebomb some guy or throw a Molotov cocktail.
And a bunch of elderly.
Holy shit.
Yeah, people who say hostages should be let go.
Yes. Yeah. Fucking crazy. I guess he was also on Parks and Recreation a couple of years
ago. Really good.
I wasn't a big King of the Hill guy. I don't know that I've ever watched. I kind of know a little bit about it, but not enough to.
Sure.
But so rest in peace, Jonathan Joss. Also, Mike Peter Kwong died at 73. He was a martial artist and actor. He was one of the 3 Storms in Big Trouble in Little China.
Sure.
He's been a henchman in so much stuff. He was also in Gleaming the Cube.
Oh, jeez. I saw that in theaters.
Yes, where he was the bad guy, the Vietnamese guy. He was a 50-year movie and TV career. A ton of credits at Cagney and Lacey, A-Team, Miami Vice, Little House on the Prairie, Drake and Josh, King of the Hill connection there. He was an accomplished martial artist working in Northern Shaolin Kung Fu, Chinese kata, and with weapons including swords, staffs, spears, and nunchucks. He was also a very talented dancer, impressive ballroom and martial arts fusion dancing.
What?
And I guess he did a great pop and lock. No joke. He also served on the SAG National Board of Directors for more than a decade and was a AFTRA National Board of Directors. Did a 4-year stint on the Television Academy Board of Governors and was a member of the Actors Branch Executive Committee of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And he was also really big on fighting against sort of that stereotyping of Asians, of really anybody in Hollywood. He really would speak up and call it out when he saw.
Right. How old was he? 80?
He was 73.
73.
Yeah.
Anybody that stands up
for... He went to too many meetings. He was doing all that good outreach stuff for the future of fellow actors and just bored him to death.
But if you saw his picture, you go, yes, I've seen that guy in something.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have a 50-year career in TV and movies and not.
Yeah, he was in a litany of shows that I watched. And,
growing up.
And staying active and because all those organizations that he was at, are making actors' lives better, hopefully, right? That's kind of, those are their unions and stuff,
exactly.
Representatives,
There's always one amongst the bunch.
Yeah. Jeez.
Good for him, though. Rest in peace, buddy.
Yes. Boys, sharing is caring. Any new books, TV shows, movies, restaurants?
I went to go see the new Ron Cruise, what is his name? Tom Cruise.
Cruise. Oh, the Mission Impossible
Mission Impossible,
nice.
where he's jumping around on an airplane and flipping around and doing some underwater activities and that sort of thing. And it was well done. It was good.
Yeah. Did you get to do the IMAX? Or?
I didn't. I missed that opportunity. I'm kind of... I went to the Regal Cinemas down here at the Landing and went to the RPX version, which was great. The sound in that theater is amazing.
Yeah.
So if you go to any movie and it's on RPX and at the Renton Landing, definitely go see it. So it wasn't disappointing by any means, and missing IMAX is not. I'm not hurt by it. I really respect Tom Cruise. He's gotten a lot of shit over the years for different things, for jumping up and down on the couch and being a Scientologist I mean, but he's a focused visionary of his own craft.
Yeah.
And he ends up making a great action movie, and he's done a bunch of them from Mission Impossibles to
Top Gun.
What's the other series he's in? I don't know what it is.
I mean, he's done a bunch of stuff.
Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
No,
but I respect him a lot. And he does all his own stunts and jumps off buildings and jumps out of airplanes.
Yeah, some of the stuff I just would be like, I can't
pilot.
No, and it's so much planning goes into such stuff. Weeks and weeks and weeks
it's not
and
just
weeks
him,
and weeks.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's but he's doing it.
But he's the guy who goes, well, we want to go from the scene is going to be based around this stunt.
Yeah.
Much, right? So that means they got to plan all of this to do all of this.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And hopefully do that in a timely manner so you're not paying all these guys extra.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Take after take,
Yeah, in different countries. countries, different visas, supplies, logistics, blah, 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 blah.
Enormous.
Oh, fuck. It's a lot of work, man.
And I think
he does it all.
I think this is number 8 in the right. He's calling
in the series.
He does everything. Yeah.
And this is where he's saying he's done with Mission Impossible, right?
Yeah, I think his age shows a little bit in the movie, and
he's 60 ish.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, I think he's around 60, but he's definitely you stop being a fixture applicable to that role once you get too old, because you have to have a certain vitality to be able to do it. Even if he is more vital and can still run like a banshee, like he does, right?
It's all that good Scientology
but I think
living.
Everybody says, it's the last, right? I went to Billy Joel back in 1999, and it was his last tour. I'll go to the last one. And that was my daughter Georgia's very first concert, and she was inside Melinda. She hadn't been born yet, but she got to hear him. So
Kiss one more time.
Oh yeah, or Ozzy's done more farewell tours than he's done tours.
What is that? What's the guy that they keep propping up? Who's dead? At Weekend at Bernie's. It's like Weekend at Bernie's. He just is like, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's like mummified already.
Yeah.
I love Ozzy.
Jeff, I really appreciated that sort of open letter, or just that post that you made about your daughter and doing the movie stuff.
Yeah, I'm really proud of her. She's an amazing soul, and she's got a bright future in front of her, and she makes everything happen. She's a manifester of her dreams, and she says what she's going to do, and she does it with conviction, and even if she doesn't believe it, she believes it. It's weird. She's, since she was a young person, she has accomplished all the things that she's wanted to do.
Nice.
And she just says it, and then all of a sudden it happens. She's magic.
I'm going to grab your posts. I'm going to stick them in our blog on our website. So if you don't follow on Facebook or follow Jeff, you'll
check that out. I was tearful writing that. Many times I had to stop and reorganize myself, because I'm just a proud father. I'm a proud dad of all my kids. But Georgia's just doing some things right now that I'm excited about, and I wish her the best of luck.
Perfect.
She doesn't need it, but she's
never hurts.
Just fine.
Wonderful.
Love you, Georgia.
Mike, what about you? What were you up to this week?
Climbed Mailbox yesterday.
Oh, Mailbox Peak?
Mailbox Peak. Yeah, that was my first time up there.
I've never done that.
Geez, it was nice. It's steep, and the last scramble, which you think isn't as far as it is way further than you think it is.
It always is. It sucks.
So the last little bit, I kind of went, but made it, and then finally got to the top, and the clouds rolled in, and it got moist and dark, and you couldn't see anything.
Oh man, just in time.
You don't strike me as a hiker.
Yeah, well, geez, I've done some.
Okay,
he's an urban.
It's like, hey, Mary, you want to go hiking?
Yeah, Climber and I used to hike all the time.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, we got miles.
All right.
But and she had done Mailbox previously. This was my first time, but I went with my homie Robin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Where is Mailbox?
It is I-90 exit 45, I think.
Okay.
It's a North Bend Road, just outside of North Bend.
Oh, okay.
You can see North Bend from part of it.
Got it.
And it's steep as fuck. It's like 4,000 foot elevation gain in like 4 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, so it works, And that last scramble part where you're kind of above tree line, it's this really, a bunch of broken granite on that mountain.
Oh, wait, I've been up there.
It's really neat.
There's a bunch of switchbacks all the way up, and you go through different forest kind of environments.
Yeah.
There's that one forest part that is that by do you get to it from Issaquah?
You can take May Valley Road, but no, you got to go further up.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm getting two things confused. What's that big mountain in North Bend?
Sai.
Yeah,
is it? That's
it's
not Mount
steeper,
Si?
and
so it's not Mount Si.
Correct.
Oh,
correct.
okay. Because you were describing that hike.
It is because it's
Of course, there's switchbacks, but but the granite thing at the top, I was keen into.
And at Mailbox, there's a trail that used to be the only existing trail, which was a direct route. So it's like 1.6 miles instead of almost 5 miles.
That's badass.
It's hardcore, man. I was up at the top. I'm like, fuck, drinking some coffee because I'm a genius that I brought with me.
Doors. Yes. After you just did your stair stepper routine.
And these two dudes are all like, foot to foot to foot to foot. Oh, just made it up the steep way. 1 hour, 51 minutes or something. I'm like, this is Sparta. Boom.
Knocked them off.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Right.
This is my time. You wait your turn.
Yeah. But it was cool. Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, it was almost 8 hours on the mountain, though.
Jeez.
It really was.
Wow.
Man. Yeah. So.
And obviously
like
it's
a
shorter.
mile an hour almost. A little better than that. But
It's challenging.
Yeah.
It's challenging.
Gravity.
Man.
Coming down's a lot easier.
Coming down's always a lot easier.
Yeah, but that was fun.
So not easier on your knees, though. Yeah.
No, but I took photos of a bunch of cute little flowers because it's spring up there. And even above tree line, there's just those little plants that are doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even the trees are much older than trees way down here. You know what I mean? Because it just takes shit longer to grow up there. There's not much palatable water when they need it. You know, there's not as much
air,
temperature.
oxygen.
Temperature changes how things move through the vascular system of trees, right? It's like
you see that as you go up Mount Rainier. You know, you got these big old growth. You know, the patriarchs, something of the patriarchs with all those big trees. And you get up farther, and there's all these wispy little
pines that look like they want to fight you.
Right. This is my land.
And with Robin, years ago, I went to Zion, and what's the twin to Zion?
Nice.
But anyway, and we went up on the high plateau, like 10,000 feet up.
Oh, wow.
It's this giant plateau, and first it's these crazy grasslands that are just like, back in the day, there were cats in there looking to eat you. You know what I mean? But so luckily,
you're talking.
Oh man, no, it was back in the day because that's been there a long time. And these cottonwood trees, and when we think of cottonwoods, we got them in Renton, right by the river.
Yeah.
But then if it's 33 degrees, they'll crack. If it rains too much, they crack.
Yeah.
They fall into the river. You know what I mean? But dude, they were like 500-year-old cottonwoods at 10,000 feet.
Wow.
These giant with like one leaf.
Yeah.
It's like the fucker's still pushing.
You go, little Energizer bunny.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That poor leaf is like, I'm trying to feed you.
Here's your last bit of chlorophyll for the day.
And I think the step in Utah was invert. Like you look at the Grand Canyon and you see the sedimentary stone, right?
Yeah,
and that's pretty much in the order it was received, right?
Yeah.
From the bottom up. But no, not in this place. It was completely flipped over somehow. Some geological event took these huge plates and went, nope.
And flipped them over.
Yes, so the oldest is on top.
What?
It's fucking bonkers,
That's
dude.
mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
How?
Yeah, how is that?
Yeah.
Well, the Earth.
Paul Bunyan, that's how.
Yeah, the Earth was
Well, he did create the
inhabited by giants.
Yeah. They're crazy. But Mailbox is great. And if somebody feels spry, it's a good one.
Yeah.
And the way up is great. You don't have to make it. The top's not the only payoff. Like Rattlesnake or whatever.
Yeah.
It's also very pretty because it's Northwest Forest, right? You're not going to go wrong.
No, it's
but the payoff is always grand. Rattlesnake is fucking grand. Like Mailbox is cool because you can put stuff in the mailbox, right?
And you've done it. Now
and I did. Yeah, no, I left a lighter because there's a bunch of joints up in there.
You're thinking that's about what was that statement you made earlier that I loved about doing something that
that
you won't know those people.
Doesn't benefit me, but will benefit somebody in the future. Yes,
good example.
Yes. And plus fire is important. Right? You know what I mean? So I'm okay with like leaving lighters.
Don't say that to the people that got fired by
I guess you're right.
But important for
for survival
for sure.
it can
I'm
be.
just joking, but yeah.
But anyway, so that's what I
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Charles?
Oh, geez. We had the in-laws come up for a nice visit. Came up Thursday, stayed through till Sunday. Had the kids up, so little baby. First time at our house, which was nice.
Great.
He just got to. He was awake and seemed fascinated the whole time, which was great because he just looking around the whole house and all these people.
And he's used to dogs, right? He's got dogs.
He's got the 3 dogs down there, and all that good stuff.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So yeah,
what's it like being a grandfather?
It is.
Is it getting better?
Phenomenal. I can't be in love anymore.
Oh, come on.
Than I am with that little thing.
Yeah, he's so good.
Different than your own kids, I think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not that you didn't love them.
You can say better. It's okay.
Well, no, but I imagine all of the people I've talked to that are over the years, like at the Whistle Stop, that brought their grandchildren in.
Yeah.
They're all just ecstatic, and they got smiles on their faces, and the grandparents just loving life.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, you're probably not stressed out because you know you can give the kid back all the things. But boy, they just some happiness with that.
I just remember my son being like 2 years old. I got divorced. I had to move back in with the parents. So when I had the kid half the time, he was with me. We were down at their house in Bonnie Lake. And just seeing the way my dad was with his grandson, nothing anywhere near what he was like with me or my brother or my sister,
of course.
right?
No, he learned
was
so
a good
much more.
dude, but he wasn't a hands-on dad. He wasn't interested in, hey, Dad, I just made this Dungeons and Dragons character. I just got this new skateboard. Check out the stickers. He's like, yeah, that's what my money's going towards. Kind of a nice enough guy. And he had his fit in his way. But with his grandson, he just was like engaged, man. So I hope that I was a different kind of father with my kids, especially my son back then. Where I was engaged for the longest time. It was when I had him, it was just he and I. So it was great bonding time, as you can probably attest to. But for me now, it's like I want to be just as engaged as much as I can.
And you've learned so much more too by having a child that you raised, and see the effects of your doings.
And I'm just
your examples of the world.
Astounded, amazed, enthralled, in love with the father he is. Watching him, so I'm just loving the fact that he's, he's engaged. He's engaged,
changing the diapers.
Oh,
what a guy! No,
spending the time.
Good for him.
So it's fantastic to see.
Oh, dude, you're breaking my heart here.
I think it's wonderful.
I love it.
Well, we could end on that positivity, or we could end on this positivity. Boys, friend of the show, Ernest Borgnine, once said, and this is honor of Guilford. That was our interview.
Guilford Adams.
Clowns, Ernest Borgnine said, "I think we all have the urge to be a clown, whether we know it or not."
I think that's very true.
And then finally, Stephen Wright probably said it best when he asked the question, is it true that cannibals don't eat clowns because they taste funny? It's a classic.
That one hits hard right there.
I can't do his voice. Well, boys, thank you, Guilford Adams, for the interview. Again, AmericanClownMovie.com.
Can't wait.
Check it out. Go follow him on the socials. I think it's Los Angeles Clown on Instagram and the Facebooks, or you can even go to GingerKidProductions.com or pro.com and check out their stuff, because they've got some other fascinating documentaries out there. But it was a great time.
AmericanClown.com. I bet we could track him from there. Let's bring it to Renton.
We'd love to reach out and try to get him to come up and do a showing. So
that would be great.
All right. Well, we're going to come back and do our top 5. So if you're a member, you're going to see us there. If you're not a member, what the hell is wrong with you? Go to Patreon and sign up, or go to r-townpodcast.com.
Do it.
The members only section and sign up there, and you'll get more bonus content from us jokers.
No, really, go right now. Right now, stand up and go over to your computer.
Do it. If not, we'll see you guys next week, and thank you for being here. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you think this episode is worth $1 or $5, the boys would love to have it. Please go to ourtownpod.store for merch or to donate now. For less than a cup of coffee, you can also join the website in the member-only area for exclusive bonus content, vlogs, and more. It's just $3 a month or $30 a year. Thank you for listening to this production of Our Town Podcast Extraordinaire.